I'm here. I'm still alive. I know it's been forever since I filmed a podcast, but I do have a good reason for that. So lots has been going on and honestly, I don't know where to start. First of all, I'm just going to start with, it's almost, no, not almost, it's just gone past my podcastiversary. 1 year on YouTube, and thank you to all of those who've been following along and have subscribed and still enjoy watching my podcasts. You are absolute stars, absolute gems. Thank you for being my friend. So yes, this is my awkward way of saying thank you so much. And 1 year, I'm still here, and it's kind of hard to believe that I've stuck with something for that long. Anyway, clearly I enjoy it, so here I am, filming another podcast for you. And for me, clearly, because I still enjoy it. Anyway, excuse me, I am rambling, and I honestly, I guess I have a lot to update you on. The reason I actually haven't been filming for the last couple of months, I think the last time I uploaded was in April, is for a variety of reasons really. The main one being that I am back to working in the office part of the week, so I have significantly less time to be productive in terms of knitting and being creative. But also I had a bit of a wrist injury. I developed some carpal tunnel in my left wrist, and it required some rest and some physio and some strengthening. So I could not knit for about a month and I was going crazy. So I poured all of that creative energy into some sewing. So I actually have a lot of sewing things to show you today. So we'll get onto those later. But I've just, well, in the last couple of weeks, been able to start knitting again. I can only do it in small chunks of time, maybe like half an hour to an hour a day, now that I know how to stretch out my wrist and how to strengthen that, and I know my limits. I can set myself more achievable goals. So there was a period when I first had the injury where I was like, oh my God, have I broken myself? Has knitting broken me? Because I've invested all this time and energy into this fantastic new hobby that I'm loving, and I'm not going to be able to do it again. So I went through a bit of a panic stage of, I have all this yarn, I really want to keep this hobby up. And my physio said to me, is this something you want to keep doing? And I was like, yes, I do still want to keep knitting. So he was like, okay, well, you just need to rest. You need to stretch it out. This is what you need to do. I won't show you because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physio. So, and this is my own exercise regime I need to do. And he also showed me ways of strengthening it. So I just need to pace myself and take my time, really. So yeah, so that was another reason why I haven't actually filmed anything, because I hadn't actually been that productive with knitting. And what else? Oh, I also at the same time injured my feet somehow. I didn't do anything to do it, but I was kind of hobbling around for a while. So it's been a month or so of injuries and being back at work. And also we have discovered that someone very dear to me is really unwell. So I've just been trying to spend a bit more time with them and focusing on that, you know, relationship. And yeah, honestly don't know how to explain it, so without giving it all away. So let me just say that someone very dear to me has been unwell or is unwell and currently undergoing treatment. So I've just really been spending time, as much time as possible with them, and to, you know, just to provide as much support and selfishly to, yeah, spend as much time as possible with them, really. So yeah, so that's kind of what's been taking up the last couple of months. And we're rolling into winter, so it has got significantly colder here. I work in this room when I'm working from home and when I'm sewing. So it is freezing cold. I don't have a heater in here. I have moved our dehumidifier into here because it gets really damp and really cold. So, and I'm currently sitting on a heated blanket. Can I just say how much I love Aldi's electric heated lap blanket? It's the best thing. So I've been wearing all the woolens. Yeah, I even have gloves. Where are they? I had my gloves. She says she has gloves, but she's left them in another room. So, I left them in the bathroom. That's what I did. Anywho, yeah, so it has been, yeah, as I said, it's been getting colder. And also, I've gone blank. I've completely lost my train of thought because I started rambling and went on a tangent. Anywho, so yes, I have been sewing, and one really good thing that I've kind of challenged myself to is to be a little bit more social and get out and meet like sewing, like Instagram sewing buddies and things like that. So thankfully, one of my Instagram sewing buddies started up a social Saturday at their local community centre. And so once a month, I am going to meet up with a group of like-minded people, and we take a project with us and we work on that project. And that has actually really helped me to kind of come out of my antisocial hermit shell. I know it doesn't seem like I have my little hermit shell when I'm on here, but I have noticed in the last few years, and particularly over the pandemic, I've become very antisocial. Maybe antisocial is the wrong word. I just haven't been social, and I've started to develop a little bit of mild social anxiety when it comes to actually meeting people in person. Right? Normally, well, I used to be a really outgoing and social person, but as I've got older, I just find it a little bit harder to connect with people. And it's probably due to a number of reasons, but I'm trying to get out of that slump and make more friends. So I'm going to social sewing, and I hope at some point I'd be able to go to a social knitting event as well, because I would love to meet local Melburnians who knit. And yes, I'm not sure if I need to organise that myself or just connect with some other YouTubers who are based here in Melbourne, and maybe we can organise something together. I know there has been some chat amongst our Instagram chat group that should happen, so hopefully it will soon. But I've got enough on my plate right now anyway as it is, but it would be nice to do perhaps this winter sometime. So yeah. So that's what's been keeping me busy, all of that. But shall we just get down to what I've made? I'm not really going to go over what I'm wearing because you've all seen this before if you've watched my previous episodes. But this is my most loved, most worn hand knitted item, and it is an absolute godsend on these cold Melbourne winter days when there's no heating in the room you have to work in. So I don't wear it when I'm going to the office because the office is heated, and my God, you have to dress like it's summer in the office. But yeah, working from home, this is great. But what I have been working on is, in terms of sewing, and talking about social sewing, I made myself a pair of pants. It's been ages since I made pants, and I am in desperate need of some. And I'm just going to get them off the hanger here. But last month I was scrambling last minute to organise a project to take with me to social sewing, and I was like, I need pants. I've got hundreds of, well, not hundreds, I got tens of printed patterns in a basket over here. I've got fabric in my wardrobe. Let's just pair them up and cut something out. And so on Social Saturday or Social Sewing, I cut out a pair of Paper Theory Miller trousers. Ta-da! Not a great picture. But they are an elasticated waist, front pleated kind of baggy trouser, baggy jean. And I had this beautiful rose bull denim from Blackbird Fabrics that I bought at the very beginning of the pandemic. And it's been sitting in my wardrobe, in my stash for ages, waiting for me to pluck up the courage to make a pair of trousers from them. I had intended to make a pair of non-stretch jeans, but jeans are kind of like my Mount Everest when it comes to sewing. So yeah, so instead I made some Miller trousers in this lovely rose denim, and I have yet to wear them. But I will say the pattern came together really quickly. I did make actually another pair of Miller trousers, and I will insert a picture. I made them out of a linen tencel blend, more drapey, in kind of like a lilac-y color like that. And they were really nice, but they were just a little too short in the rise, you know, from the crotch to the waist. So I haven't worn them as much. So what I did with these is I extended the rise from the crotch to the waist by about 1.5 inches, and they seem to fit quite well, but I just need to wear them. I haven't had the courage to wear them out yet, but I will, because they are done. And I was saying, and again I got sidetracked, apologies, is they came together really quickly. So I went to social sewing. We started at 10 a.m. I cut out my pattern pieces. I sewed them pretty much all together. I got everything done except for the waistband and the cuffs, and I finished those off at home. So these are the cuffs. They're the leg cuffs, and the waistband, as I said, is elasticated. So you've just got to kind of fold it over, stitch it down, and then thread the elastic through. And yeah, they were pretty much done. I procrastinated for another like 1.5 weeks before actually finishing off the waistband and the cuffs. But it's done now, and I'm so glad. So yes, so that's the very first thing I have finished sewing. And then after that, I actually needed more kind of winter tops. So there is I have a kind of favorite turtleneck pattern. It's the Seamwork Neeneah. It's actually a turtleneck dress. But I have made a turtleneck top out of it before. So I had some lovely kind of bamboo merino lightweight rib jersey, and I whipped up a turtleneck in that, and I will try and insert a picture here because I don't have it to hand, and it's really hard to hold up because it's really drapey, but it looks great on, and I really need to make more of those, but I just don't enjoy sewing jersey. Even though it's really easy, I just find it a little fiddly, and maybe it's just not as satisfying. You know what it is? It's the twin needles, the hemming on like the cuffs and the band. So I tend to leave the hem band raw because jersey really doesn't fray. So yeah, it's no big issue. So yeah, so that's what else I've made. You might see here beside me, we're just gonna pan over. I have almost finished making this thing. It's wearable and I have worn it out, but I do need to insert a lining. You'll see here that actually there's no lining inside, and the white stuff you can see at the top, that's iron-on interfacing. So what I really want to do is put some lining in. This is the lining I'm going to use. It's a silk, a Marc Jacobs silk, and I'm going to put it all in by hand. I've never done it before, but you know, you got to learn, haven't you? So I have watched a couple of craftsy YouTube videos on how to hand stitch a lining into a jacket, and I'm going to do it. Again, I've procrastinated doing it because I don't know, just mentally it's too hard right now. But yeah, it's done and it's wearable, it fits, and I think previously I'd mentioned that I'd made modifications to the pattern. I haven't at all. I thought I'd done it to the bicep of the sleeve, but it turns out I didn't need to at all. And I'm just checking the size. I made the 2XL. It's a Kwiksew pattern, and I'll actually list it down in the description below. It's a really good pattern. The only thing that I don't like, and it's not really that I don't like it, it's just that my body shape, my waist is higher than the waist of this jacket. So where the waistband sits, it actually sits on my hip, which is the widest part of my body, and therefore it doesn't do up. But if I move that waistband up to my actual waist, I can do the jacket up. You know what? Jackets don't necessarily need to be done up, you know. It looks awesome. It looks great. I love it. I will probably make it again at some point. I rarely make things twice because I always like to move on to the next and greatest thing. But it's a good pattern. I will go back to it, and there's nothing really that I don't actually like. That's just a body proportion issue, which isn't really an issue anyway. So yes, so that's my next thing. I do have social sewing this weekend, so I'm pondering taking the jacket in with me to hand stitch in the lining, or I might just cut out a new project and take that with me. I need more shirts in my life. I need jeans in my life, but I'm not going to do jeans this weekend. So yes. This is starting to feel normal and natural again. So yes, again, something new. Okay, when I was down visiting my parents a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, we went into our favorite vintage store, and I like to check the woolen blankets to see if there's anything good and usable in there, because I've always wanted to turn a lovely like Onka Paringa or straight-in woolen blanket into a coat or a jacket or something like that. And I always really admired I think they're Danish or Norwegian blankets that have a pattern on them, not just the checked ones, but ones that actually have a motif on them and they're reversible, so that there's a dominant color on one side in the pattern, then when you turn the blanket over, the non-dominant color from the original side is the dominant color. And I'll show you what I mean, because I stumbled across this blanket at the Tyabb vintage shed, and it is beautiful. I'll turn it the right way up. It's a gum nut motif, and it's really lovely. This is just an offcut of what I've got left from what I made, and this is the other side. And honestly, it was in pretty good condition, except for a few moth-eaten patches, which I have managed to avoid when cutting out what I'm about to show you. It's beautiful, and the offcuts are going to be used for something. I still haven't quite finished this, but I have made myself a vest, a blanket vest with the blanket, and I've gone with the blue as the dominant color for the outside, and I'll show you the back as well. So there's the back. Isn't it lovely? It's so pretty. I'm so glad I stumbled across this. So I've gone with that as the dominant color, and the inside of the jacket has the cream as the dominant color. And on Insta, I put up a poll because I was having indecisive conniptions about what I should do with this collar bit. Sorry, this collar bit. Whether I should make the inside more visible or make the outside the more dominant color. And as you can see, I've gone with cream, so it's more cohesive. And I put my little label in there. Don't know if you can see that. I'll take it off the hanger. But yeah, I wanted to kind of do my own little label. There we go. But it is super cute. I mean, technically you could make it reversible. What I've done is I've just bound the armholes with some bias binding, and I had this kind of glittery beige coloured binding in my stash from ages ago. And yeah, it's turned out really nice. And because it doesn't fray, it didn't require a lot of like hemming or any hemming at all. What I have done though is on the pieces I've cut out, I've just stitched, excuse my band-aided finger, I've just kind of stitched along the edge to kind of prevent any future fraying. But like I said, not that it needs it. I've done it down the front as well, which was actually one edge of the blanket, and the bottom of the vest is also another edge of the blanket. So yeah, very little hemming needed. The only finishing really I did was on the sleeve, on the armholes, and that's just because they'll get a lot of wear. So yes, let's see if I can put this on. And it's so big, I can technically wear it over, my biggest, bulkiest jumper. So there we go. And I'll probably need it today because it is very cold. So yes, is that everything I've made? I think so. Yeah, I think so. I am still pondering inserting pockets. I'm tempted to do a welt pocket and have it hidden on the inside, which I think will look really nice because at the moment I feel a little bit like a country mum when wearing it, not mom or ma'am, a country mother, even though I don't have kids. So yes, I do kind of feel a little bit like that. It is super cozy, it's super cute, and this is lovely. Love this, and I'm so glad I found it. I am living my blanket jacket dreams right now. So yes, so that kind of ends the sewing portion, but I do actually have some knitting things to show you. So if you have stuck around this long, thank you. If you were only here for the knitting and you stuck around this long, then you're a star. So I have a couple of things still on the go. You will have seen my whips previously. I do still have those whips. I'm still working on on my Illuminate sweater. But since we last spoke, I think I had ripped back all the way back to the bottom of the yoke colorwork, and I had to change needles. Whoop. I had to change needles for the stripes. I had to go down a needle size because it was leaving a lot of warping. It was too stretched out. So I fixed that now, and I am pretty much back to beyond where I started initially. So I've got to knit 11 inches of body, and I think I'm at 8 inches now. So I'm almost there. I mean, I'm coming on to almost close to a year since I started this, and I will finish it before that year is out. I'm hoping to actually finish this before mid-July because there's an event that I'm going to that I want to wear it at. I want something new that I've knitted to wear to this. So it's still going. I have nothing else to say on that other than I'm almost finished the body. Almost, a couple more inches, but it's slow going. So there is that. I also I've actually finished something. I was working on a terrazzo neck for my dad. This is my second attempt to knit something for him that will fit and that he will like, and it worked. He loves it. It's done. It was supposed to be for his birthday in April, but with my injury, it was delayed, so he only got it in May, but he's worn it, it fits him, he likes it, it doesn't have mohair, that's great. And I will insert a picture so that you can see it. I knitted it up in, what was it? Sorry, I'm gonna have to refer to Ravelry. I bought it from Skeinz in New Zealand. And it was a worsted and the colour was truffles. And I want to say it was a vintage something, Aaron. I'm just going to look it up. 1 second. Play the background music while we wait. Projects. Oh, good Lord. Ah, there it is. So, the Terrazo neck was knitted in Skeinz Vintage Abroad 10 ply in the colorway Truffle, and it was a lovely kind of muted brown color, which my dad loved. And I knitted it up in a medium to large, so it comes in 2 sizes, small to medium or medium to large, and the medium to large fit him perfectly. If you haven't knitted the Terrazo neck before, I highly recommend ignoring the twisted rib directions and just knit the rib, because that is a lot of twisted rib in that pattern. Aesthetically, it looks beautiful. Like this is a twisted rib. It looks lovely if you like twisted rib. But for the amount of work with a wrist injury, it was a lot. It was a labor of love, let's just say that. And I'm glad it's finished, but I'm even more pleased that my dad loves it. So there is that. I was going to knit one for myself. I do have some op shop gold in the form of some lovely kind of deep green DK wool that I got from an op shop a couple of years ago. And there were only, I think, six balls of it, so enough really just for a Terrazo neck. And I had been wanting to make myself something from it for ages, but after making Dad's, I think I'm going to give myself a break from that. I don't really need anything like that right now, so that's on hold. But yes, when I do knit it up for myself, it won't be twisted rib, it will just be rib, and that's that. So yeah, great pattern. Petite knit patterns are always really good. I find them easy to read and understand, and they were one of the first patterns that I made, which is this one. So yeah, I guess I'm just used to the way they're written. I enjoy them. They're generally size inclusive depending on what you get, but the one I knitted up for my dad, in terms of the Terrazo neck, it looked really small on me. I know I am larger, so, but you know, for someone my size, I wouldn't even bother knitting the Terrazo neck. So maybe in the future, but you can easily modify it. You can add more stitches, so it's not a big deal. So yes, so there was that. Oh, there's one project I'm working on also for my dad, which I don't have with me. Let me go get it. Pause that thought. I'm back. Sorry, I just ran up and down the stairs. I'm a bit puffed out. So, I had to unravel a bit of it because I messed it up. So it's a bit of a mess. La la la. So, here it is. This is the Oslo hat, again by Petite Knit, but this time Dad chose the pattern. Dad even went and bought the yarn, and can I just say his yarn choice was whew, so good. He decided to go with knew I'd find it. Great Southern Yarn, Elizabeth Macarthur DK SRS Merino. It is 100% Australian SRS Merino, which I had to Google and discovered it stands for smooth rolled skin. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have no idea what that means, but apparently it means that the sheep produce a really soft a really soft, low itch merino, and this yarn is to die for. This is the softest merino I have ever felt. It's beautiful. This colorway is Margaret Ollie, and it's a lovely kind of like dark teal blue. I'm almost finished it. I messed up the decreases on the crown of the beanie, not decreasing quick enough because I half read the instructions and thought I know what I'm doing, and didn't finish reading them. Only to have to unravel it all last night and redo the decreases. But yes, so this is a Oslo hat. It's gonna look great once I've finished it and blocked it. But yeah, it's got like a triple fold brim. It'll keep his head nice and warm this winter, so almost done. And I realized while I was downstairs collecting this that I do actually have another kind of lounge room knit or whip, lounge room whip, that's been languishing a while, and it's another Basset hat. Doesn't look like much right now, but this is the front flap, these are the ear flaps, and I've still got one other ear flap to go, and then the trim that goes all the way around. But this is for my husband, and this yarn is the Stansborough Mills mithril yarn in the original grey colourway. So this is the undyed colourway. And if you watched a previous episode, you would have seen I knitted him a vest in the red colourway. And this, because it's I think because it's undyed, is so soft. I mean, this pattern you're meant to hold 2 strands of mohair together with, I think, a fingering. I've forgotten. But you don't need mohair with this undyed mithril yarn. It is super soft, like, oh, it's so nice and fluffy. So that's my other project. I do have a lot on for someone who's been injured and not been able to knit. I have slowly been chipping away, at stuff. Yeah, and oh, balls, like literally balls. This other whip is the, oh, I don't want to drop it again. This is the Wildflowers Path by Melody Hoffman, Bee Mandarins, and I'm finally knitting with some of my Nutiden yarn stash. I've been putting this off for ages because I was nervous to start knitting something with how kind of fragile the unspun is, but I sucked it up and I was like, you know what, I need a healing project. I need something that I can be intentional and slow, and something that's delicate that I can't grip and ruin my wrist again. So this is what I've been working on. This has kind of been my healing project. So it is gorgeous. This colorway is called Pupelin. It is a lovely turquoise gray. I mean, it is really hard to pick up the colors in this in the light, but it is just to die for. Really lovely, and as the light changes, so does the color. So I thought this had to be my first project knitted up in Nutiden, and now that I've started, I want to knit everything with Nutiden. And I may have just recently succumbed to their latest Patreon release, and I ordered more yarn. Which I'll show you now. So we're in the acquisitions section, and I think I'm running out of time. I'm doing this on my lunch break, so I'm just checking my clock. Yes, I have a little bit more time. We're okay. So this, I guess, is the Nutiden spring collection. It did end up being a Patreon only. I'm not sure what the reasons were for that. I think it was to do with timing, but whatever, that's not my job to tell you. I'm just here to tell you about the yarn, and if you're one of their Patreon members, you will have seen Caroline's explanation. So I loved pretty much all of the colors in this collection, and I just realized as I'm holding this is not one of the colors from the collection, but it is one I want to show you as well. So let me show you this. This is one of their earlier collections, which I will have probably shown you in the past. This is the color Greer. It's a lovely peachy pink, and it's been locked away in my stash for ages, and I only got it out the other day because I was so inspired by the May collection and looking at color options, color combinations, that I brought it out. So where do we start? I'll start with what I think is my favorite and the softest one of the May collection, and this is Lola, and it is a kind of soft muted purple. It can look quite dark and grey in some lights, but I think what's coming up on the camera is quite accurate. So yeah, I would say this is a muted purple. It goes rather well with my skin tone. Doesn't make me look really flushed and pink, which is great. I'm probably looking flushed and pink right now because of my pink hair, and I'm wearing too many layers of wool. So now I'm getting really hot. Right, just pile up everything next to the camera. So yes, I am in love with this color. I'm in love with how soft it is. This is so soft. Yeah, I absolutely love this one. Whoops. Also in the collection, there was a color called Liv, which was a mixture of almost like, I want to say beige, but it had rust and it had turquoise in it as well, like blue turquoise. And together it looked stunning, and it sold out like that. And I'm really annoyed that I missed out on it. But I got the other colors I wanted, and honestly, in my panic, I ordered 600, so 2 300-gram bags of Lola instead of just the one. But I'm glad I did now because it is so soft. It's my favorite. Anywho, so moving on, the other colors they had with this green, and this one is called Grot, which basically means sprout. It is a lot more yellow than I expected, but it is a very vivid green, and I had intended to maybe make like a top, like a ranunculus or something out of this, because I thought, you know what, I need to kind of like mix up my colors, you know, be a bit more adventurous. So I got 300 grams of this, and then I thought, oh, these two go really well together. It is kind of like a spring tulip, you know, that's the fresh green of the tulip stem, and that's like a nice dark purple tulip. Anywho, so I thought maybe I could do a color work with these two. And then there was this color, which is quartz or kvatch, I think Caroline said, and it is kind of a gray beige pink. It's really hard to see, but I think that's pretty accurate. You can see it's kind of a greige with flashes of pink through it. It's a really soft, comforting color, and yeah, I got 500 grams of that, and it's a really nice soft wool as well. So yeah, so there were the colors that I got in the May collection. And let me just destroy everything behind me. So what I have done, I realize I have so much Nutiden now that I have decided to put to make up samples that are easy to grab, easy to hand, you know. that are convenient for me to pick up and play with and work out color combos and things like that. And I saw someone on Instagram who had wound bits of Nutiden around old thread spools, and while I was at the vintage shed finding this lovely blanket, I also found some old thread spools, and so I have done the same thing. I've done the same thing with each of my Nutiden colorways. So this one is Lugnet. This is a grey, blue, purple, pink. It's really hard to see, but I mean, yeah, it's a cool grey. And then I have Ornithogalum, which is a white. I think it's a nature white. And then I have Val. And welcome to the tour of my Nutiden stash. This is a beautiful, vibrant blue. And then this one is Shushbenaya, which is a grey pink. It's very similar to Kwiksew, the one I just showed you, which is also this one. And you'll see side by side, they are not too dissimilar. Kwiksew is a little more beige and a little lighter, but they both have the same kind of pink undertones. I'll just flip that around because the light's coming from this side. So yeah, I've gone through it and I've put them all on spools, and as you'll see here, there's a really nice color combo. And so I had an idea that maybe I could use these colors together to make a colorwork sweater. Ideally not this one, but that will work together as well. But I was like, oh, maybe I could do the Badger and Bloom with it, with these colors. So I've just put them all on an old knitting needle. And so I just knitted up a basic swatch, not in the colorwork pattern, but I just wanted to see what they'd all look like together. I'm just putting my hand behind it because otherwise you'll see through and you won't get the proper kind of color effect. And they all kind of work together. They're all very different feeling as well because they're different blends of wool. So this purple Lola is really fluffy and full. Pupelin is quite silky. This one here, Greer, the pink, is quite soft and fluffy like Lola, but the green, Grod, is really silky and slippery and doesn't give the same gauge as the others. So I'd probably need to, if I wanted to incorporate all of them into a sweater, I would need to probably hold 3 strands of Grod together to get the effect of 2 strands of each of the others. So yeah, so that's what I have done. And I think also these two, so Lola and Greer, look beautiful together as well, and I thought I could do a colour work with those. So I've just been playing with my Nutiden and just really enjoying it. So yeah, I think, honestly, I think that's everything. Oh, one other thing I haven't showed you, because it has been such a long time. So at the time I filmed my last episode, it was just past, I think it was just past my birthday, and for my birthday, I decided to order myself some lovely wooden needles, and they arrived just after I filmed that episode. So here I have a brand new set of needles. I ordered them from Etsy. They are handmade in India, and I'll just bring out a couple of the needles. They are rosewood. There we go. They're a rosewood needle. They are a different attachment to all my other needles. So the cables that came with it, they're the only cables I can use with them. but they are beautiful needles, really lovely to use. And the set itself came with 2 pairs of each of the smaller size needles as well, which is really good. I thought, you know, that was really good value. And they came in a nice case. And yeah, I say that a lot when I don't know what to say. And yeah, and these are the cable stoppers as well. So some lovely kind of rosewood cable stoppers. You can't really see that properly. But yeah, that was another thing I got myself for my birthday. So yeah, I have all this yarn. These had just arrived. I'd injured my wrist and I was like, my God, I'm never going to be able to knit again. So I had, as I said before, I had a bit of a panic. Like, I've got all this stuff for this amazing hobby which I want to keep doing, but if I what if I can't knit again? But all of that was put in perspective, you know, not long after, and I am just determined to enjoy life, keep doing the things that I love doing, spend time with the people that I love, spend more time with them, and just focus on the good things, because life is meant for living. It's so easy to get caught up in the stresses of life, and I'm sure everyone at the moment is feeling the pinch of the cost of living. I know that the cost of living has gone up significantly in the UK. It's definitely gone up significantly here. There's wars happening, there's mass shootings happening, there's everything happening, and it is challenging to stay positive, but I think it's even more important to focus on the things that bring you joy and the people that bring you joy as well. So yeah, so that is my episode today. I think I've probably rambled on enough at you for now, but I will be back again sooner than this last time. So I think I'm aiming for roughly 1 a month, which would be good. And what are we in now? It's June. My battery's about to die. It's June. July, I have something exciting that I'm going to, and I will film an episode for that. So yes, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Before my battery dies on me, I just want to say thanks again, and I will see you again soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's the Queen's Jubilee. Fantastic. How amazing. You know, 70 years. Anywho, that's it. I'm going to go. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll speak